There's a picture of me at 8 years old holding onto the rail of a roller coaster ride, and I'm looking like my life is about to end. I'm like this by myself on a fun roller coaster. By the way, it was the smallest type of roller coaster you've ever seen, like the kid roller coasters at amusement parks or fairs. Anyways, that was my first experience with a roller coaster. I was terrified, but I went on it. I was so scared, I just never wanted to go on one again. I'm like, that's it. Too scary. No, not for me. Well, when I was 12, my grandparents lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and there was a wonderful, beautiful, magical place called Opryland. It has since gone out of business. It's like bulldozed down. It's like, I don't know if it's like a mall. I don't know. I Googled it and got really sad once, so I'm not doing that again. So, the much loved location of the thing I'm about to share with you is gone. You can't go to it anymore, but it's still all in here. So when I was 12 years old, my grandparents, they were so cool about showing us kids around to all the awesome places where they lived. We lived across the country, like a couple thousand miles away from them at that time. And every time we visited them, they always took us to the coolest places. And Opryland was one of those places. It will forever, in my mind, be this magical place where, like, as soon as they figure out time travel, that's one of the places I'm going. But it was Opryland. You can Google it yourself. Like I said, I Googled it once and went down the rabbit hole and got sad because it's not there anymore. I recommend Googling it. Opryland theme park, Nashville, Tennessee. Anyways, amazing place. We went there, me and my sister and my grandparents, and we had no time limits. We just stayed as long as we wanted, hung out together. This was my first introduction to, what's that ice cream that's like the little, it's like Dippin' Dots? Dippin' Dots, where it's like little dots and you, oh my goodness, that was like blew my mind. It's like, what is this? So, roller coasters. Opryland Amusement Park was the first roller coaster, real roller coaster that I went on. It took a ton of convincing. I fought it really hard. I did not want to go because I was terrified. It was called the Wabash Cannonball. And I think my sister convinced me to go on it, or maybe a cousin, because I think we went a couple times, and one of the times we went with cousins. So I don't know if it was my sister or a cousin that convinced me to go on. I think I probably did it just because I felt bad that I was being like the one that doesn't want to go on the ride. Can't remember. But I went on it, terrified to get on. But oh my goodness, it was so fun. It changed my world for like, this is what you like, you know? I loved it so much, and the lines were short, so we just would go on it, go on the ride, scream because it was so fun and have the time of our lives, and then get back in line and just go right back on. It was so fun. So since I decided to do that roller coaster, then I had more courage and excitement and adventuresomeness to go on the ride called Chaos. Imagine, if you will, this is also something you can Google. I'm pretty sure there's YouTube videos about this. Imagine, if you will, a roller coaster that's scary and fast and everything you imagine a real roller coaster to be at a theme park. But put it in a giant building and then turn off all the lights and then only vaguely light the place with like Star Wars-esque lighting and lasers and intense music. And they called it Chaos. And we loved it. That was another one that we would go on. That was just So terrifying, but we could not get enough of it. It was like, how long's the line? We're getting back on. When can we get back on chaos? Like, we would go on that thing as much as we could. It was chaos, though. Like, it was called chaos, but like, just imagine that. Imagine the terror of a roller coaster, which granted, like, you don't have the terror of like going up a hill and seeing down, but they still made it so that you can see things like going up the hill and then coming down and around. You're still seeing lights. Some are close, some are far. You know that you're up high. It's terrifying. And we loved it so much, but we had no idea where we were going. It was up, down, fast, slow. It was chaotic, and we loved it so much. So the reason I'm bringing this up is recently I went through, you may have seen my video, I'll link it below, about my drama with my email list hosting server, and I'll just link it below in case you're interested. It's about the server MailChimp. Anyways, I had to do this whole overhaul of like my emails that I had an email list and was working on revamping it. It's a long story. I could share more about it some other time. But in going through all my old emails that I used to send out to my email list, I discovered this story about chaos. And in the email, I tied it up with a little bow, reading a quote from this really big entrepreneurial lady who it was this quote about like, oh, like life is a, blinding ride. Like you feel like you're riding a roller coaster in the dark, up and down. It's, wild. You don't know what's coming next. And I was like, oh, like chaos. So like in the email, because my email was all based on like, online business stuff. So in the email, I gave that quote as like, hey, so just like the ride chaos, you don't know what's coming next, but it's worth it. And, stay on the ride, don't give up, that kind of thing. I've been doing, rebranding and things. But as I was going through those old emails, I was thinking like, there's ways for me to talk about these things where they don't have to be about online business necessarily. I mean, sometimes if you go back and look at my other videos, you'll see I do talk about online business stuff because I have a few things online out there floating around. But I was actually, when I reread that email about, telling my email list about the roller coaster chaos, and I read that quote about, like it's hard. You feel like you're in the dark, you're going up and down, fast and slow, but you're staying on the ride. And I thought, you know what? Your life might feel like you're on the ride chaos and you're not having fun. And it does feel dark and chaotic, and you don't know what's around the corner, what's over this hill. Like it really can be scary. And in life, you don't have the benefit of knowing like, it's just a ride, it's fine, So I was thinking that I wanted to tell you about the ride chaos just because it's so special to me, just that ride and that time going to the theme parks with my family. But I also wanted to share because there's probably somebody out there, maybe it's you, who is feeling like, you know what, life is chaotic. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster in the dark. What's coming next? I don't know. We don't have the benefit of having ridden on this ride before. But here's what I wanted to say is stay on the ride. If the ride is a metaphor for life and all its ups and downs, definitely stay on the ride. It's worth it. Yes, it feels like we're in the dark so much. There's so many questions, so many mysteries, so many unknowns, but it's worth it. And obviously not in the same way that like the roller coaster, because again, I knew I was on a roller coaster. I knew I was going to be, able to just get off the ride and walk around and get some Dippin' Dots ice cream and see my family. You know, so like it's not a perfect metaphor, but for some reason I felt like I was really supposed to come on here and tell somebody to stay on the ride. And also by staying on the ride meaning staying on this journey and holding on to that bar through all the ups and downs, you will create memories with the people around you who are also on the ride. And reach out to somebody, you know, because I know that like if you're feeling like life is chaotic and dark and scary, you know there's got to be other people around you who are feeling the same way. And we have to stick together and stay connected to people. If you're not able to meet people in person, send somebody a text to say hello. Ask them how they've been. If you don't hear back, text somebody else or email or call or FaceTime, Zoom, whatever. If you are able to meet people in person, gather together with people and determine to find the people who are safe to share how you're really doing. Because, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, talk to somebody, reach out. And then you talk to somebody or you do reach out and they're like not helpful or they almost make you feel worse. But don't stop reaching out until you find safe people who are willing to listen to what you're going through, how you're feeling. And then also, you know, maybe sometime you can be that person for them, you know, when they're going through a hard time. So I wanted to share those special memories about the ride called Chaos, but then wrapping it up with stay on the ride. And there are valuable things to be had by staying on the ride. So feel free to also Google the ride Chaos from Opryland. I think I watched a video a few years ago that somebody recorded video recordings from inside the ride. So if you're curious, I'd definitely check it out. Meanwhile, stay on the ride, reach out to people, and stay connected.